Thousands of protesters descended upon Niger's French military base on Saturday after French President Emmanuel Macron said the ambassador they have been calling to leave was being held hostage. The demonstrations began in early September, around 5 weeks after soldiers toppled President Mohamed Bazoum and seized power in a coup. The move has been widely condemned abroad but celebrated by many at home. Protesters gathered outside the base to demand its troops, as well as the French ambassador, to leave the country. Hundreds are camped there, vowing to occupy the base's front entrance until their demands are met. Relations between Niger and its former colonizer France have worsened since Paris declared the junta illegitimate, stoking anti-French sentiment. French President Emmanuel Macron said on Friday that France's ambassador...
Hello, welcome to the New World Affairs. The military administration in Niger has accused France of amassing forces and military equipment in neighboring West African countries, raising concerns of a potential invasion. Tensions between Niger and France, its former colonial power, have escalated since President Mohamed Bazoum was ousted in a coup in July. Colonel Major Amadou Abdurrahmani, in a televised statement, claimed that France is deploying its forces in multiple West African countries as part of a plan to attack Niger, with the collaboration of local organizations. West Africa has been experiencing a number of coups over the past months in mostly francophone-speaking countries of which Niger is a member. Additionally, Niger is facing a standoff with the West African bloc, Ecowas, which has threatened military intervention if diplomatic efforts to reinstate President Bazoum fail. Harith, a group that does not recognize the military regime in Niger, does not consider the mutinous soldiers responsible for the coup as part of any cooperative agreements. In response to the situation, Niger has revoked the diplomatic immunity of French Ambassador Sylvain Ity and ordered his expulsion. Despite calls for French troops to leave Niger, President Macron has stated that they will remain. France's refusal to withdraw its forces and recall its ambassador has sparked outrage. While France did respond to the accusations by withdrawing some troops, the fact that they were present in neighboring countries is a significant concern. It is surprising to witness such a situation unfold in a country where France is not officially involved. The accusations made by the Niger military administration may seem baseless, but they highlight the need for France to engage in a constructive dialogue with Niger and address the concerns raised by the African community. It is vital for all parties involved to find a peaceful resolution, as resorting to military force would only further escalate tensions. Macron's attempts to dress up his neo-colonial policy and plans for wars of plunder as a defense of democracy is a cynical fraud. Thousands of Nigerians have been taking to the streets every day for weeks in the capital, Niamey, outside the base where French and NATO troops are stationed, demanding their departure. The support and understanding of the African community are crucial in navigating this complex situation. France is losing its power completely on its former colonial countries, and it isn't taking going down without a possible military aggression. Russia has previously condemned France and promised Niger of its support. After a decade of bloody French military operations in the Sahel, and over a half-century of neo-colonial domination of the region since formal independence, French imperialism faces explosive opposition among African workers and youth. Condemnations of Russian actions in Africa by Paris and its NATO allies are correctly dismissed in Africa as a hypocritical fraud. Nonetheless, the perspective advanced by the juntas in the impoverished Sahel countries is not a way forward for the working class. They aim to rely on Russian protection and their own military strength to discourage France from intervening directly and to work out a deal with the NATO powers behind the scenes. But the NATO powers themselves are currently and recklessly escalating their war with Russia that now threatens to explode across Africa as well. Moreover, the Russian post-Soviet oligarchy, led by Putin, sees the Sahel mainly as a bargaining chip in dealing with the NATO imperialist powers amid the war in Ukraine. Should Moscow believe itself to be in a position to work out a deal with the major NATO powers at the expense of its allies in Africa, it would do so. On August 24, the Nigerian, Malian, and Burkinabe juntas established an agreement for matters of mutual security in matters of security and defense in case of aggression or terrorist attack. The struggle against imperialism, which has deep ties in the African bourgeoisie, requires the unification and mobilization of the working class across Africa and internationally in a movement against imperialism and war, aimed at the overthrow of the economic and political power of the capitalist ruling elites. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos.
Upon Niger's French military base on Saturday, after French President Emmanuel Macron said the ambassador they have been calling to leave was being held hostage. The demonstrations began in early September, around 5 weeks after soldiers toppled President Mohamed Bazoum and seized power in a coup. The move has been widely condemned abroad but celebrated by many at home. Protesters gathered outside the base to demand its troops, as well as the French ambassador, to leave the country.